Hello, I'm Linda from paperboutique.blogspot.com. Today I would like to show you several different techniques using Mod Podge. We're not going to be doing a project, but I just want to show you a few different techniques. Well, first, a few words about Mod Podge. There are many different types of this product, and today we're going to be using, I think you can see it in the camera, matte, and we're also going to be using glossy. However, if you want your projects to be archival, you may want to use the paper Mod Podge. There's a fun blog called Mod Podge Rocksblog.com. Try to say that quick 3 times. And they talk a little bit about that the Mod Podge people actually realized that there was a need out there to have a product that would be archival safe, and that's why they did the Mod Podge paper. And the paper will be Mod Podge paper, and it'll come in gloss and matte. I just didn't have any at home and wanted to try this gloss technique and glaze technique without it. But if I use this in a scrapbook or if I use it on cards, I'm going to go purchase some. Next, I want to do a shout out to Paper Crafts magazine. They have an issue called Cool Tools, and that's where I got these ideas on how to make a quick glaze using Mod Podge. And I'm going to show you a couple of their techniques, and I'm really pleased to report they work very, very well. And then I'm going to show you an idea of mine on how to make glitter glue using Mod Podge that will not flake off. Well, here's the supplies that we're going to be using today. Obviously is the Mod Podge. And then I've got this tray, and you can see it's well loved. I think I picked this up at Michael's. We're also going to be using just some regular craft sticks or popsicle sticks will work. And when I do Mod Podge, and I do a lot of it, I like to use a fine cosmetic sponge. A lot of people get really good results with this type of a foam brush, but I don't know if you are picking that up on camera, but you still can see a little lines, I think, when you use this. So I like to just use a really soft makeup brush. Well, the first technique is going to be how to make a quick glaze using Mod Podge and reinkers. I'm going to use Distress ink for this technique, but I think any other type of ink would work as well. I just found that this gave me the best result. And you could use either matte or glossy Mod Podge when making this glaze. And like I said earlier, we're going to be using both today. But I think what I'm going to do with the reinker is let's go ahead and mix up some glossy. And this is going to be a messy project, so you're going to see lots of mess. I'm just going to, and my Mod Podge, as you can see, is well loved. I'm just going to pour just a little bit in there. That's probably more than you need, and I've got a mess already, so I'm just going to wipe it off. And then what I did is I used this reinker, and it is the Worn Lipstick from Tim Holtz, and I love it. And I'm just going to use like 3 drops to do a quick, it's almost like a stain, but it's really called a glaze. And I'm just going to stir it up. What would be great is if you had some of the brown reinkers, and as you can see, for this demo, I've made way too much. And you can make it any color intensity, but like I was saying earlier, if you had browns or some of the aged linen, it would be great to distress some of your papers. And the nice thing about this is it's really a nice glaze. And, well, let me show you. What I picked today is a piece of pink paper. I thought we'd do kind of a tone-on-tone glaze. And this has white dots in it, and I wanted you to be able to see that. What I like to do when I'm doing something like this or glitter is I like to just hold it with a pin in the center. And I'm probably not going to take your time to do the whole thing, but I'm just going to get in there, and you can see what it's just really nice. And I'm just going to turn it around and just give it a nice coat. And you can tell this is just making it, you know, toned down a little bit. And I got a piece of cat hair in there. It's always nice to have 2 black cats around, so you always have to work around them, and they love to sleep in my craft room. Then what I do is I'm going to slide this off and just let it dry. But before I do, you can get an idea that there's kind of the glaze that it's going to become. And I'll slide that off. I'll move this out of the way. The next technique I want to show you, and I've got a better before and after for you on this one. This is a glaze, and it's going to be using acrylic paint. So any color of acrylic paint. And I don't want to set that in there. But once again, I used a tone-on-tone look. This was the original piece of paper, and this is with the glaze. Let me go ahead and mix that up and show you how that works. And for this one, I'll shake this just a little bit, and I'll use the matte, and I'll try to get in a little less. I think after I'm done with this video, I'm going to use the pink up on another project because I hate to waste it. And I'm not a painter, so I don't have a lot of acrylic paint sitting around, but I did have this left over from Christmas and wanted to try it. And like I said earlier, you could do a brown, a gold, a rust, anything would give you a wonderful age look. This particular one is a metallic Christmas green. I'll shake it up just a little bit. And and this is in the matte, and I'll do it. That's a big drop there. And I don't know, you probably can't see this, but it's really got a pretty metallic sheen to it. And this is just a light glaze, but you could do this with any of your acrylic paints and it would really change the color and look of your Cricut cuts or a scrapbook page. And then once again, I'll bring in the lighter color, and I'm going to move this over. This may be out of camera a little bit. And I've got another sponge. I'm just going to hold this. Then I'm just going to dip in the corner here. And you can see, oh, that's really pretty. I got this one a little bit darker than the other one, and just smooth it out. And then after it dries, there you go. You can see that it's just, and then after it dries, you can go back and do another coat, and that just gives you just a real, I'm going to move that off camera. It just gives you a really nice glaze. And let me bring that in again and show you. That's the first, and then here it is after it's dried. Well, I think this one's going to be just a little bit darker. I might have only used a couple of drops, but if you want just a really quick tone-on-tone glaze, it works very well. And my other one isn't quite dry yet. You're still seeing a little streaks in it because it's not dry, but that'll be really pretty as well. And then there's the original. Well, lastly, I want to show you my favorite technique of the day, and it's called making glitter glue or that will not flake off. And earlier I did, oh my gosh, about a year and a half ago, I did a video on how to make glitter glue that will not rub off, and you can see using glossy accents, and I have a video out there if you want to watch that. But I discovered, and I was really thrilled, that you can also make glitter glue that will not flake off using Mod Podge. And I don't know if it's picking up. I'm going to move this down a little bit so it's not in my ink. But this is the one I used with the glossy accents, and it's a little chunkier looking. And the one with Mod Podge is a lot, it's not a lot, but you can tell it's a little finer, and which is interesting because I used the exact same glitter for both techniques, and it's I just used the Martha Stewart turquoise. Well, let's go ahead and mix some of this up so I can just show you. Okay, and I think for this one I'm going to go ahead and just use a little of the glossy. You can use matte with this technique as well, but the gloss will be really pretty. I'm not going to use very much because I don't want to waste it today. The nice thing about this little painter's tray is you can just make small amounts and then just wash it out. And for this, I actually am going to use just an old paintbrush. And what I found is you can go ahead and make one coat, and then if you miss something, you can go back and do another. This really is only one coat though on both of those. Well, and you do add quite a bit of glitter. I'm going to make sure I don't have too much there. And then I'm just going to mix it, and it is messy, and it doesn't look like it's going to work. It looks real kind of milky. I may add just a little bit more there. And it just depends on, you know, what you're looking for. and it will look really milky, and I was convinced that it wasn't going to work because when you mix this with the glossy accents, it doesn't look milky at all. And then after it dries for about an hour, it really turns out to be a very nice glue or glitter glue. I'm just going to put this down for a second and bring in, and I'll just go ahead and paint this. I've kind of got a mess going here. Hold on. Trying to, okay. Then we're just going to paint it, and it goes on really very nicely. It feels almost like it's just a really light, regular Mod Podge. The other thing that works really well with this technique is go ahead and match your glitter, especially if you want the full coverage. Go ahead and match your glitter as close, the color of your glitter as close as you can to the paper. Now that really looks like it's not going to turn out, but trust me, when it dries, it will look like this. It won't be as chunky as this because this is done with glossy accents. But I'm thrilled because I love using glitter and I don't like it when it flakes off. So this will dry. As you can see, I use the same color paper on the back as this, and then and when it dries, it'll lay a little bit flatter as it dries. And if you find, and I didn't put this under a book at all, but if you find that it's kind of warping it all after it dries, I just put a sheet of wax paper, you know, over the top of it, and then I put a heavy book on it. But and let me bring in this again to show you, and my other one still isn't dry. That's just the real quick matte glaze, and the other one that we did is the glossy glaze. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching, and please visit me at www.paperboutique.blogspot.com for more projects and ideas. Bye-bye.